Welcome, humans on all the spectrums, to our show, The Tavern Talk, a Wheel of Time talk show brought to you by The Way of the Leaf. In this episode, we begin our rewatch of Season 1 of Amazon Prime's adaptation. We'll bring you Rafe Judkins' answer to Dragonmount's Twitter questions. We'll talk Episode 1, and actor Jansen Lashley Haynes will use his industry insider knowledge to help us understand some of the changes Amazon has made to the story.
Oh yeah, rewatch! Let's go, rewatch! Bring it up now, Beth!
A rewatch. A rewatch.
Woo! Yeah, hey! Ah!
Oh, I gotta stop. Oh,
it's on the loop, Brian.
I know. I love it so much. Oh, someday we'll get there right. Thanks everyone for being here today. And if you're watching this on replay, hi, how's it going? I like your shoes. I like your shoes. They look perfect on you.
Right, is that a new haircut? You look great.
I know everyone's looking fantastic.
You look great.
I think we look so great that you should hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.
Do that.
All right, so Jansen,
Speaking of looking great, hello, Jansen.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Looking great, sounding great. Your dulcet tones are coming through
Awesome.
perfectly, crystal clear.
Very
It's everyone know that you, Jansen, are a host. You are a permanent host. You are a human host of Tavern Talk. But we have a guest.
Yes, we do.
You like that transition? Our guest, don't shake your head backstage, Thom. I saw that. Our guest is none other than Thom from Dragonmount. He is going to be joining us in this rewatch series. So every episode, we are going to have our buddy. Let's bring him in. I think I'm doing great, Dan.
You totally are, Ryan. Bring in Thom. Where's he at?
It's just
Yo.
there you go.
man.
Hey.
I feel like I know I'm wearing clothes, well, mostly, but I feel naked without my felt self. I'm here in my,
You feel
my
exposed
meat
and you're windward instead of leeward, huh?
yeah.
That's so great. I'm so happy you could join us. Thom, can you please tell everyone what Dragonmount is doing and why we are piggybacking off your gig? What's going on? Tell everyone what's happening.
Yeah, sure. So
Thom is our almond bunt, Ryan, by the way. All right, go ahead, Thom.
Nah, it's all good. So we over at Dragonmount, we had an idea kind of birthed very quickly overnight, really, to do a rewatch live and stream it on all of Dragonmount socials. So that's kind of what we did last Monday. And when we posted about it, Rafe Judkins,
Who's that?
showrunner for the Wheel of Time,
Oh,
was
okay.
like, "Oh, that's a cool idea." So he said, happy rewatch day at Dragonmount. At the end of each rewatch, why don't you send me one question that everyone agrees on, about the episode, and I'll answer it. So, you know,
What?
after I got done running around my house screaming, I was totally cool in my response, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that sounds great, Rafe."
Yep.
And we had a lot of engagement. I think we collected the idea is we'll collect questions throughout the live when we rewatch it, and we did, and then we posted those questions on the Dragonmount Twitter, which is just at Dragonmount, and we took 4 of the top ones and we made a poll and we let y'all vote on which one we sent to Rafe, and Rafe ended up answering the question with the most votes. I think it ended up with like 54% of the votes or something like that.
Well, that is a quorum.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah. I was personally, so one of the questions that was on there that I was hoping for was if you could ask Robert Jordan one question about this episode, what would it be?
Ooh.
So I was kind of hoping for that one, but the one that ended up getting answered was, what's something that we missed from this episode, which was from Uno's eye patch. And Wraith answered in 3 parts. The first part was just him saying, hey, I'm going to bed. I'll answer tomorrow because he's in the UK writing season 3. And the second part was there's so many Easter eggs everywhere, from trinkets on Pat and Fane's cart, which I need to go back and look at again, to the fact that every house in the 2 rivers was we built had named inhabitants from the books that matched their described jobs and hobbies. But one Sarah didn't think people had noticed was Nynaeve's mention of trust the river to Egwene in the women's circle ceremony. Not only does this point to Manetherin's history and how to embrace the source, which most of us saw the embracing the source part, you can even hear in Mo's teaching of the scene, but also how Nynaeve will eventually break through her own block. So that's pretty interesting. So like that's 100% confirmation that Nynaeve has a block.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
You know, Tom, that embraced the river. I actually, on this rewatch, when Nynaeve and Egwene are on the bridge, smelling the wind, hearing the wind, and they both close their eyes, and to me, there was a very much the same sort of dynamic when listening to the wind. It was a mentally surrendering to the river, per se.
Okay. Because it's something that she trusts, listening to the wind, kind of, I guess, right?
Well, and it's also that's how you don't control it. You are just a vessel. You're just there. Yeah, I guess. And the river's gonna do, the wind's gonna do, and you either receive it or float on it or what. I mean, I don't know. It's esoteric, I guess, but I connected the two in my head: the river to the listening of the wind.
Do you think that she's shaped as the Aes Sedai symbol?
Yes.
Okay.
I also think that's strangely the most see-through dress I've ever seen. It looks like you can it's a Domani dress, but you can't see anything.
That's true. They did, like, while they had more sex in the show than is in the books, they definitely didn't have very much nudity other than, you know, Daniel Henney's butt, which
Buns.
We'll see more later, but not right now.
You think so?
Yeah, I think we'll see more later.
Okay.
You forgot about
we see Lan's buns, and then we see like 5 minutes later we see Marion's honey cakes. Do you think that they are connected?
Oh, that's good. I like it.
That's a deep dive. All right, so back to the answer. She has a block.
Hold on real fast, Ryan. Let's
say thank you for this, Matt.
Thank you so very much. Does Layla have 13 rings in her ear? Dark friend. Ooh. Oh, shit.
I never saw. Oh, I have to look at. I did notice she had a lot of earrings, but I didn't count them.
I was on board with the Layla is a dark friend thing right up until, you know, Layla, the actress who plays Layla, and Rafe was like, no. But the I mean, like, Layla, she's got her axe or whatever, hammer or whatever that she had over her head, ready to hit Perrin, it looks like, right as he
correct.
I was like, that's totally his TAVERN nature / the pattern protecting him from her, because she was actually a dark friend.
Because that Trolloc was dead meat. Perrin was being excessive in killing that Trolloc.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no reason she should have wanted to join in and bash his head too.
I wish we had permission to just show things, but I on my rewatch today, I changed my mind also, because I do believe that there is a Trolloc on the ground next to the Trolloc that Perrin was brutally bashing.
Yeah, she did. She had just killed one.
Yeah, she had a foe, and she might have been trying to go for her kill shot. And
she's like, "Oh, this is what we Ibaras do: is we completely destroy corpses."
2 hands up, 2 hands down.
Die.
It's the Ibarra way. They go for the double tap.
Well, there's so much there that I will talk about later. In that, just even the scene we're talking about right now, where they had to do some things different for production reasons, and especially for people who hadn't read the books. It's such a different thing for, when you're producing something like this. People have to go into it as it's something that they've never seen before. And people who have read the books have an advantage over those people because they know what happens. But to be able to craft that for someone just watching is very, very difficult and very different than reading page after page. I actually think that Rafe did a fantastic job with this. I think his choices were beautiful. I'm not sure if they came out the way he wanted them to in every sense, but I understood why he did the things he did, and I thought they were perfect.
Let's get it. Actually, let's take that opportunity and get into that, Jansen. Talk about some of the changes that you appreciated.
Well, when you start, I mean, I actually, when I first started, considering the changes, I passed over some things because I wasn't thinking about everything. And I thought about what Rafe Judkins would have to do. And, when we open the Eye of the World, we start off in a flashback of Lews Therin and all the things that happened with him. So that gives the audience, at least the readers, a basis for where we're going. And that's the first seed. So what he had to do, he obviously, with some of the other changes that he had done for this, especially with 4 TAVERN, possibly 5, and things like that, you couldn't start out with just Lews Therin and Ishmael. They had to do it differently. And I think how they battled that, how they changed that was great because it was just an introductory of Moraine telling everybody what was going on. And she had to use, we don't know if it's a girl or a boy, we don't know who he is, where he is, things like that. But in order for a production, for a film or a television show, they have to pack that in so the audience gets it quickly, not over the course of a half an hour of reading, but over the course of 30 seconds or less. So that's how he did it. And I thought it was perfect. How they consolidated that, and they had to do that a lot, and they did it a lot more in the next scene, even in the next scene. But I thought that the choices he made were perfect.
Can we talk about real fast? And this isn't necessarily a criticism. This is more an intellectual exercise. So in this world, apparently the dragon can be female. It's not gender specific what the dragon is. Go ahead, Thom.
I was going to say, or the Aes Sedai just don't really understand how rebirth works, which is what I think more is we're getting the unreliable narrator in that point.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Which is great because that's what they did in the books.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's awesome.
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, he's trying to stay true to that.
Yeah. I mean, they're bringing the he's doing it well. My only criticism of how he's knocking the Aes Sedai off the pedestal now is that it's in the books for a reader, it was much more impactful. Whereas for someone who's never read the books and you're just watching the show, they didn't have time to really have the Aes Sedai in their head as these mythical beings that are they know everything and they're super smart and they can use the one power and they're almost deified amongst the normal people who don't ever interact with them. And then by book 2 or 3 is really when they kind of get knocked off their pedestal, and it's much more impactful when you find out that the Aes Sedai don't actually know everything that they're talking about and they gloss over things all the time when they don't know things. Whereas he did it by episode 3 in this.
So how would we handle a female dragon though? In general,
Very carefully.
Having a dragon that is female, you don't have a taint. It could be any one of the Aes Sedai. Then, in theory, if they fulfill prophecy, I don't know. That took me. That made me start thinking, what if there was a female dragon? How would this happen? And what would that look like if this is just if the Amaryllis still exists as the seat of power amongst Aes Sedai, and yet one of the Aes Sedai under her is the dragon? I don't know. I just started.
Well, that's a fun exercise for reals. Yeah.
It sparks creativity.
It's such a huge change because, like you said, they don't have to wrestle with the taint. So it would
Then you're
it would
just-
change
then-
so much.
There's actually I was gonna say the exact opposite, Sid. I think it's the least fun idea. There's no internal struggle. There's no
Well, hold on.
risk.
Is it a female dragon in the reborn? Like originally it was Luce Theron, who was a man, so he went crazy because of the taint and then died. And then the reborn is the female dragon.
Correct.
Yes, but that's another one of the differences between the book and the show. Now, if you remember in the show, now we're getting a little bit past the first episode.
Yeah.
But they called, if you remember, when they went back to the Age of Legends, she called Luce Theron the Dragon Reborn.
Mm-hmm.
So they're
Yes,
suggesting
that was.
so that's different than the book.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So they're suggesting that this has happened before already, and he's just one of many in a number of people who have been a dragon before.
Yeah,
That's something they did not do in the book.
There are like 3 things specific, like non-budget related and non-rewrites because Barney Harris left the show related stuff that I didn't like about this. Well, not didn't like, but I'm unsure about because I just, I don't know how they're going to handle it.
I bet I could guess 2 of them.
Yeah, well, I forgot her name. The woman who was playing the female Aes Sedai in the flashback.
What's her name? I forgot.
While you're thinking, real quick, Sabrina, nice to see a new name. Thank you. Hope you join our channel, join our discussions.
But yeah, no,
Phoenix,
when
like
she
that,
said
the Phoenix
Dragon
Reborn.
Reborn, that was
Well,
one thing
that's-
I wasn't.
Yeah.
That's redundant. That's what phoenixes do. They just reborn from the ash, anyways, right? You can't have a phoenix reborn. I mean,
Can you have a non-reborn phoenix?
Not reborn is my question.
Yeah, that's a Phoenix Reborn is pretty redundant, huh?
Right. But I like that. Phoenix, again, mythical creatures from our world that are mythical again in Ranland. They don't have dragons. They don't have phoenixes, and yet we have these phrases in their vernacular.
And they have giants. They reference giants, but I don't really remember giants.
Yeah. This episode is called Leave Taking. There are 3 chapters in the books that are called Leave Taking in 3 separate books. We have a chapter.
But this is very, very appropriate for this episode.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
And the reason
pacing
for
of
that,
this episode, I felt was a little bit quick too. I felt like this would have been better if it maybe was 2 episodes, like the first episode, everything, and then the second episode starting with like some sort of
battle.
interaction with Rand and Tam and like the others about leaving and then leaving.
Well, and that's one of my
Right.
biggest complaints about the series in general is there's only 8 episodes in the first season. I feel like it could have easily been 10. I don't blame Rafe. I think it's the other powers that be that were like, well, you know what, we got to keep it snappy. You know what, allow for a little expanse. So when she said, when Moraine at the end said, we have to leave, and from the time she said that to the time they left was like 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
yeah,
It was so quick. Suddenly they're on a horse and everyone's just giving knowing nods.
Mm-hmm.
And then they leave. And that could have been expanded. And we'll talk later about if you had 5 more minutes, what you would add to that. But that's one of the things I would add was just at least a little conversation or 2. Everyone knows they're leaving. In the books, it was a hidden thing. Everyone sneaked out at night. But here they're doing it right in front of a burnt down town. Everyone's like, cool. See ya. So we could have had a word or 2, I wish. Anyway.
Matt's sisters were crying.
They were
That
crying.
said it
Their
all.
dirty faces were still dirty.
well, and also doing it the way that they did it, it saved a lot of time and money for Rafe Judkins. Well, there's so many little things, like just even that are impactful in the book, like the talk that Rand had with Tam before they left. That's a pretty significant part to read in the book.
Mhm.
And they handled it very well by not handling it all and knowing that everyone knows that they're leaving. Everyone said that, there's I said Leave Takings was a great title for it because the 10th episode, the 10th chapter of the book of the Eye of the World is leaf takings. And leaf takings is the time when they leave. The very next chapter after that, chapter 11, I believe, is the road to Terran Ferry, and they've already left where they start off on the second episode. So I think that, they've used the first 10 chapters and they consolidated all 10 chapters into one episode. So there were a lot of things that production-wise they had to take out for money purposes, for, continuity, and to make a 1-hour show, which is only like 48 minutes.
Yeah, 50. It was like 51 minutes and like 30 seconds of like screen. I only know that because I had to make a timer.
That's awesome. I love facts like that.
But
I would.
Lumen actually said something that I want to point out. So like that is huge. Like that ring. So apparently Amazon is like all of their episodes. All of their shows seem to be 8 episodes in like the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Weird.
But Lord of the Rings having 90 extra minutes of runtime is huge. Like
that is huge.
Gigantic. But that's what $400 million can give you.
On your point, Jansen, one of the big things that they had to change going from the book to the screen, and not for budgetary reasons or anything, just because it wouldn't play well, is a similar critique, not a critique, but like thing that I've pointed out with like a movie like The Hunger Games. There's a lot of inner monologue in The Wheel of Time, and even in this first couple of chapters with Rand.
A ton.
You can't put that on screen.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
You
like
can't.
it's like, could you imagine if we just, I mean, don't get me wrong, Yosha is really nice to look at, but if we just had like Yosha like this, just silently staring up with just his like thought, like just his voice going over, like, while he's nice to look at, it's still like, you can't do inner monologue on screen. So now you have to take all this information that the reader gets from inner monologue and somehow give it to us in another way.
But the show viewers just don't know that Rand thinks Matt and Perrin are way better with women than he is.
Nope.
Oh, God. I'm so glad that we don't get that every 30 seconds.
Yeah.
They're like, Perrin's way better with women, and he's like, I just killed my wife. Like, don't
Perrin
get me
so much
started.
better than women. Matt's dad a drunk who like cheats on his wife, and didn't Perrin kill his wife with an axe?
There's a couple things I do want to comment in the beginning. So I watched this with the visually impaired narration going on. And so they will describe the scene briefly and the characters. And until the characters are named on screen, they come up with funny little names for them. And so when Nynaeve and Egwene are at the river, Nynaeve is referred to as the handsome woman. Egwene is referred to as the doe-eyed woman. And then later when the boys are sitting there having a beer together, it said a red-haired man, a scruffy man, and a strong-jawed man.
Strong-jawed man. So that's Perrin.
Strong-jawed man. And they refer to the strong-jawed man dances with Layla because we don't hear his name until later. So he's referred to quite a bit as the strong-jawed man.
I like that.
That's fascinating. In the Amazon just closed captioning, they were giving away everything.
Yeah, they were.
They gave away everything. Like I figured everything out from that. Basically, like I was studying the names that they were dropping to figure out what was happening.
Well, for the visually impaired, they keep spoilers until it says it on the screen. Then they're like,
that's awesome.
Yeah. But until then, she's a doe-eyed woman.
Doe-eyed woman.
I wish you would have said calf-eyed, but whatever.
No, doe.
I'm a realist. But so we can also talk about this. So in those first 10 chapters, that essentially the first episode, there were chapters taken out, but they added things from those chapters. Like one of the chapters was the Gleeman. Which obviously we didn't see, but what we did get some quotes from that chapter. One with Marin Veer, wars are fought by fools, fighting other fools for foolish reasons. That was a Tom Marilyn quote specifically, and she used that So they were always drawing from the first 10 episodes. They weren't trying to leave things out. They were just trying to make it so it could turn into a show.
Yeah.
Because
they would have to. That's another character to introduce to an audience. Like it's tough when you're introducing all of these characters.
Yeah, and especially a character as important as Thom. They have to find a way to bring him in and still have him be valid. Like, I think when he comes back, it's going to be way more dynamic than when he came on. And I actually liked his first scene. I really did. I actually liked the way they made Thom Merrilin. He and his quotes, they didn't quote a lot from the book. They made new quotes, actually. Like the one where he says there's nothing more dangerous than a man that knows, the past.
Oh, that's a great line.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was amazing. And I wish it was in the book. But that wasn't in the book. But I do believe that is going to be something that they're going to, use those words. I think that everything that happens, they're going to use. And the way that they did the first 10 chapters all the way up, I think was great, because they even used one of the things that was huge in the first book, the first 10 chapters, is Land's journey after Narg, just from his house to Emmons Field. There was so much content, so many things that he goes through and, internalizes just to get there.
Thom, are we going to get... I'm sorry, Thom, are we going to get that? Do we have any confirmation about whether or not we're going to get any flashback scenes from Winter Night?
Well, we did
in the last episode.
Yes.
Oh,
his
goodness,
dad was there talking to him, like they showed it.
They showed that whole conversation.
Yeah, they showed it.
Yeah, it was almost word for word from the book. Like we saw the baby in the snow crying naked.
Mm-hmm. And I thought. And I'm glad that they did, because when I watched the first episode, especially with such a noted actor as the person who's playing Tam Althor.
Oh my God!
This is Bruce Bolton. Yeah,
he's the most notable actor on the show.
Yeah, he's the only one I recognized, really, to be honest.
Next to Rosamund.
No, I don't know Rosamund Pike outside of this.
Yeah, I would
honestly,
say that he's
I don't watch movies.
I mean, I know his past. I would say that he's more accomplished than her. I mean, as far as like a co-star and as far as a supporting actor, he's been in some of the, as far as budget-wise, money-wise, he's way up there.
I think it's more just leading man and / leading woman-wise. Like, she's been the leading person on films where he hasn't really, I don't think.
That makes sense.
He was even remember, he was in Wonder Woman.
I know.
She was in a movie with Christian Bale, like some Western movie.
Yeah, he's great. No, he's really,
I love
good.
him, yeah. I forgot his name, but I love him.
That guy.
Who's great as Bruce Bolton. Like, that's all I know. He
stole every scene he was in.
Let's talk about a notable scene that was not in the books, and that's this lantern scene.
Yeah.
I actually like that a lot.
The lantern scene on rewatch I found awesome.
Yeah.
Paddon Fane is there just to sell lanterns, it seems, because there's a shitload. There's a whole river full of lanterns, and I'm like, oh, if half a mark gets 3, man, Paddon Fane has so many marks.
He has a lot.
So, yeah, he made a lot of money off that.
But there is this reincarnation. The people there, and we hear it later with the Tuatha'an, as far as Isla wanting to leave a land or a world that is better off for when her daughter and grandchild come back.
The most beautiful moment in the entire series.
So there is this reincarnation kind of being set. Tam, who had matches, by the way. Sorry, Aludra. Take your stupid fire sticks elsewhere.
Yeah, you noticed that, huh?
You just get them at the gas station. They give them for free. They all are focused on encouraging the spirits to come back, and we also have this potential backstory of Matt's family maybe suffering a loss, Nynaeve suffering a loss. There's a lot that was suggested
Yes.
in this
Yeah.
scene here.
And in true Nynaeve fashion,
doesn't exist in the books at all. And I was trying to break it down a little bit, and I'm like, all right, I think Matt lost a sibling, and that's why he's so protective of his sisters. That's why his mom is such a drunk, and that's why his dad fucks around.
I could see that.
I could see that.
I think his dad might be responsible.
That's why he gave the lantern to the mom.
Yes, he holds his dad responsible. His anger towards his dad is vitriolic.
Mm-hmm.
And when he yells, "Where are the girls? Where are the girls?" He's yelling at them.
Right. It's not just because he's out getting strange. It's because he's a neglectful parent who actually had something catastrophic happen. Ryan, you're with me here.
Yeah. I picked up on that.
What do you think, guys?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That like I could see him like, oh, maybe he got drunk when they were out in the woods and a wolf got her, or they were swimming in the river and she got pulled out, or they got pulled out. But no, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it gives more depth there. And I think there's an opportunity for a redemption arc for
exactly. And that's exactly what I was about to say.
Yes,
gives it a perfect chance for redemption.
Yeah, and maybe he's not responsible, but Matt feels he's responsible, and that can be somehow rectified.
Shit. Neglectful or abusive. I didn't even cross that line, Sabrina. Oh, nice. Now Matt's parents are even worse in my head. Thank you.
I actually think I know a little bit of. I think I know what they're going to do with this. Where they're going to go with this. So we took all the way to Memory of Light, where Egwene told a story about Matt. And Matt had been clowned and made fun of by the whole village because he heard little. I forgot what the kid's name was, but he thought he was drowning. Matt ran and jumped in, and the kid wasn't drowning, and the whole city, the whole town laughed at him for months. Then he said, "Okay, fine. The next time someone's drowning, I won't do anything."
I'm not bloody here.
The next time someone was drowning, Matt was
again,
the first one in. They may use that. I think Rafe may bend that and use that as one of his arcs.
That's cool.
I think that's what they're going to do. I mean, they're doing things like that now. Even he's using everything, and he's moving chapters. If you see, like, he's talking about some things that happened in the book in other chapters, but he's foreshadowing for them. So he's clicking them together almost like Legos.
Yeah,
it's
cool because like obviously as Robert Jordan was writing, not the first two books because he kind of wrote the first book especially he wrote way before he had any idea on how the world was going to work. But like after books like 2 and 3, he kind of knew where he was going with the writing and with the story and stuff. But he, as you write, things change. Rafe has everything. He has all the information.
He has it all.
But
he's got to make it into a show.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the hardest thing in the world. Like, it's making it, because it's like, and even on the smallest side of it, the entire crew, from the grips to everybody, they all get the script. So they all know we all know, and I say we because I'm usually one of the people, like, I stand in a lot, so I'm part of the crew a lot. And we all know where we're trying to get, and it's like, and everybody has their little parts, to try to make that a reality. And it's difficult, and that's why, I mean, I know why they picked Rafe Judkins to do this, because he can do this.
He's doing great.
He can do this. So it's
when Game of Thrones came out, I remember people going, the Targaryens have purple eyes, blah, barf, barf. And yeah, they did. In the books they did, sure. But they didn't include that in the show. And guess what? No one cared. Daenerys is Daenerys. Everyone recognizes that a Targaryen is a Targaryen. They have the white hair. That's enough. You can make changes based on budget without it being like, oh God, what, blah blah blah. I mean, there are certain things I do miss. I miss. I'll say I miss Thom's mustaches. I want to see a knuckle on a mustache on Thom. I also don't understand why he doesn't have the Gleeman cloak. Really, like
he does.
No, it's hidden. It's reversed, and it's muted. It wasn't vibrant. Well, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just want to say, I think he was doing that because he was in like a cheap bar, essentially. Like he was in a very low-brow inn, so he's not going to be the big showy gleeman for that. He's going to be more like the gritty, musician for that one. But if he was in like a nicer place, he would be the big.
I don't think
gleeman.
so. I don't think we're going to see it at all. You know why? Because I believe that they're writing Thom to kind of be in hiding still.
I was just what I was going to say. He's in hiding.
I think his gleaming cloak. I do. I think he's in hiding. He's always moving. I mean, he got the vibe of he's someone who's always moving. And from what we know, the Ritz still stands in Andor, and that's exactly where they are. So I have to believe that Thom is still like. If you think about the story and you think about what would happen if it was live action and everything, he'd still be wanted. They say so many times in the book that queens don't forget things, especially Morghese, who had a hot temper.
Yeah.
So I have to believe that Thom is still in hiding and still,
that's fair.
Dodging the authorities.
That's a good point.
I mean, that's true too. I was more pulling from there's a couple of scenes in the book when he's teaching. I believe it might have been in the first book when he's actually teaching Matt and Rand like performances.
Yeah, on Doman's boat.
Yeah. He's like, he talks about differences between high chant and low chant and stuff like that. He's like, I wouldn't. He says something along the lines of, "I wouldn't perform this in high chant." It's some,
and that's actually a Brand's POV too. That's a POV moment, yeah.
So I think that's that's why I think it's kind of like what he's doing is he's more playing to the crowd. He might also be doing it to be in hiding, like he might not be going to like big extravagant balls as a gleeman, and he's more so just like playing, his guitar / singing for his music.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of the hiding. I thought in my head, if Steven Tyler goes to karaoke in North Dakota, he's still tying 3 or 4 scarves around his microphone stand when he sings. Because he's Steven Tyler. Because that's his gleaming cloak.
Yeah, no,
Our scarves on his microphone.
See, imagine though, you got to believe if Gareth Bryn was out to arrest someone, and they got out of his grasp, slipped through his fingers. Gareth Bryn, he's not going to forget that. He is going to want to still be fun. In fact, the way that it's written, I would be safe to say he's probably seriously on the run, and like there might be we might see wanted signs for Thom Merrilin. At some point.
Oh, funny.
Especially the way he handles chasing after Suan and Min and them later in the books.
Exactly.
I always took his writ for arrest as more of like a like in the books as more of like not like it's there, it's real, but it's like not, it's like understood to not be wholly serious.
Well, remember how mad Elena got when Egwene called her a dark friend.
Yeah.
Thom called her a dark friend. So
I mean,
she's
like a certain politician who exists in our real world, where she's not really a dark friend, but she's so bad at her job and what she does that she might as well be a dark friend.
Yes.
Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, I see what you're doing, MAGA. God damn it! I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
But yeah, so I that's just my take on it. I think that Thom's running, and I think when Thom and Elaine meet each other on the show, there's not going to be any.
It's gonna be interesting.
There's not going to be any. Oh, I remember you. She's going to know who he is as soon as she sees him.
Okay.
That's what I think. I mean, and that's the way that Rafe Judkins can consolidate so much in one storyline. Like you have to make it not so you find out about it in 5 hours of reading 6 chapters, but you're going to have to find out about it in 2 minutes. So I think when Elaine sees Thom Merrilin at the Stone of Tear, I mean, that's what I think. And I think Tom's going to be like, I don't want to see her because they've already aged everyone anyway, right?
Yeah.
Jansen, I love what you're bringing to this because I tend to have a critical eye for things, and I think of like corporate, influence and different things that I think kind of drive art to like it's the median. But like you are telling me that within those strictures, there's art being done. Like how Rafe is maneuvering those strictures, you're saying is artful and in like the spirit of Robert Jordan's writing,
Absolutely.
which is I love that. Yeah.
That's what I think. I mean, and I can totally see. And I mean, if you're seeing this, Rafe, one day, I hope I meet you, man. And I hope in any capacity I'm on this show. But I think you're doing a fabulous job. But, and it's difficult because there's so many more instances in the first 10 chapters where you have to do that. Up to leave takings, when we're talking about, what they had to craft between Rand leaving home and getting to Emmons Field, what they did was they took things that were, I'll say, off of camera by the readers. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They used a lot of different things that were off of camera by the readers. That the readers basically said, "Oh, this would have happened." That's what they're using,
right?
And it's a way better way to tell a story about something that you need to consolidate because it just adds cohesion to everything and it does it quickly.
And to that point, Winter Night was one of the things I really wanted to see on screen. And this episode delivered. It was a good 15 minutes of horror.
And there's something that we didn't get in the books. Like we didn't see on screen in the books Trollocs actually in the Two Rivers killing people and burning buildings. That was really cool to see it. And
it was also the only time we saw Lan actually use his sword well, which I'm waiting, hopefully, that he's going to be using more, because he is supposed to be the best swordsman alive.
that scene with Lan and Moiraine, the way they were, like it was like a dance. The way
they were fighting together, it was awesome.
Yeah,
cool. That's how you show the water bond of them knowing each other's movements, and their that was the best thing I saw about them using the water bond.
Yeah. And the scene in after it was the day after, like so when they first arrived there the next morning, there's a scene when Moiraine and Lan are talking just in front of the Wine Spring Inn, and Lan says nothing, says no words, and Moiraine is talking to him, and then she's just like nodding and understanding. She's like, okay, yeah, I understand, like as if he was talking, but he's not actually talking.
That's right after we saw the dragon's fang and the dead sheep, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I gotta say, I also like the ambiguity this first episode gives us regarding the ring. It's open-ended whether the power that Moiraine has is from herself or from this ring. Lan, his hot ass steps into the pool and he's like, it could be warmer. And then she lifts her hand and that big ass ring is floating and she's like, ooh. Also, when she talks to Mirren, when she first walks in, she kind of flashes the ring and they're like, oh, Aes Sedai or Moiraine Sedai. Uh-huh. It kind of gives the ambiguity that it could be the ring itself that has this power. Which is not unheard of in fantasy series, by the way.
Well,
guys.
No, that's for the audience, especially that was specifically for non-book readers.
Yeah,
and
keep it mysterious.
The non-book readers are more important to the production than us book readers. And now I know this is a horrible thing to say,
Mick.
And we have to feel bad about it, but you have to understand that when they're making this, they're hoping that 10 times the people watch it than just the book readers, at least. So what they want to do is they have to fine line between making us happy and not completely destroying their stuff, but making it so they have a product that they can actually sell to people who've never seen this before.
Correct. And I like the way they do it. And then I think it's the next episode that Moiraine starts giving Egwene lessons, and we see that it isn't actually the ring, that she has the power. But that's not explained at all in this. And I don't know. To me, I kind of like that open-ended, how is this woman magic? Is it that ring she keeps showing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's because you have to learn that. I mean, if you've never read the books and you're just watching the show, you have to be still on a journey. They still want to take them on a journey. And yes, we went through the greatest journey ever by reading the books.
Mhm.
It was awesome. But they want to consolidate that and take everyone else on that same journey. And for the most part, I think they did it because a ton of people that I know who were never book readers were literally arguing and debating who the dragon was, who this was, who that was. No, I think it's this. No, I think it's that. And that's what you want, because that's the feelings I had when I was reading the books for the first time, thinking about the future. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Will this happen? Will this happen? And that's what he's trying to recreate. And he did it pretty well, I think. And I know he doesn't have a way bigger budget, like I just found out.
Bummer.
But I think that they're crafting it. I think that once we see the full, that's the problem when you see an artist painting something and he's only a quarter of the way through. You start thinking of things he should be doing or he shouldn't be doing. But we haven't seen this entire canvas yet. And and there's a method to his madness, and there's a method to why they're doing certain things. Now, that being said, I can't wait to figure out why they use the Oath Rod so early, but we'll see.
The one thing that they aren't going to have to contend with in season 2, at the very least, is a surprise COVID, like they did in,
I mean, hey, knock on wood.
Well, I mean, they have the protocols in place for, like, COVID is a thing, and they already, and I'm sure Jansen can attest to this. Any movie set has protocols for COVID in place, regardless of.
Right now, you have no idea. It's nuts right now.
Yeah. So, and it's going to be like that
every other day. Yeah.
It's going to be like that for the
you have to
foreseeable
test.
future.
Dude,
What I mean is more like COVID didn't exist, and then all of a sudden the world was shut down when they started filming episode 7. So it was like they're not going to have to contend with that, like literally COVID becoming a thing overnight in 2019.
Midstream.
Yeah. And hoping one of the main actors doesn't leave the show middle of the series. So like those are two major things that they had to contend with when they were in the middle of that first season. When they were in the middle of episode 7, Barney Harris left the show and COVID was a thing. So, became a thing. So hopefully they don't have to apparently they've already finished filming season 2, so
that's my understanding.
It's wrapped.
The rap party was so awesome, guys.
It's wrapped.
Season 2.
That being said, I can honestly tell you. So I've been on 3 shows this week, and I can't tell you what I was doing, but they were network shows, and I do that a lot. But for each one of those shows, 2 days before the show, I have to take a COVID test. The day of the show, I have to take a COVID test. If I have to go to a fitting, I have to take a COVID test 2 days before the fitting.
Your nostrils must have a callus.
Oh, it's crazy, dude. I have 19 different COVID apps because every production company uses a different company for their stuff. So I have to re-sign up so many times. I mean, literally, I have to take one. I'm taking right now probably 4 or 5 COVID tests a week, if not more. The only good thing about that for me is that I'm in the Screen Actors Guild and I'm in the union, and they pay me $100 every time I take one.
Oh, right.
They pay through $250. So, but you have to do it. So, I mean, that's the rule. And that's not even, and I'm in California. They don't care about the state rule. They have their own bylaw rule, and that's what you have to do.
Do you know how much insurance costs on those big name actors?
Insane. And I was working with Sir Patrick Stewart on a show while in COVID. So they were dude, we had hazmat suits on. Literally. I'm joking, but I'm not joking,
I mean, so could Sir Patrick Stewart work if he is not vaccinated? And let's say he decides, I'm not taking these tests. I've lived a long, glorious life, and I'm not succumbing to your rules.
Well,
that was a great Sir Patrick.
We were on a show We were on a
John
show
Boyd hasn't
that
been in anything in the last 3 years for that reason. So
he was the star of a show that cost 10 to 20 million an episode. So basically, he gets to do what he wants, because he's carrying everyone, and he's the star, and we're very, very much worthy of it. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm 99.9% sure he was vaccinated.
Yeah, he was. He made a big thing about it with Ian McKellen. Yeah,
because we're also in the union. We have to be protected too. So we're not going to work with a guy, but. They were. He's also in his 80s, so they were taking serious precautions. But they do it now for everybody, and we have to. If I'm booked on anything, I know I'm taking at least 3 COVID tests for that show before I get there, and then I have to take one every time I go.
Yeah, that's brutal. That's brutal. Actually, I think that's a really good segue point. I want to take a moment and do an ad break. Let's talk about our sponsors. Village Mattress is the official sponsor of The Way of the Leaf. Yes,
our OG and first and always, Ryan, is
the mattress choice of the Leaf people. So if you want 30 to 50% off your entire order, that's right, 30 to 50% off your entire order, go to villagemattress.net and when
seriously,
you get
guys,
there,
we've been doing these ads for 2 years now. And have you changed your bed yet? Have you gotten a new mattress yet? You dirty swines.
I will be very soon.
What's that, say again?
I will buy a new mattress from them very soon.
There we go.
Then we're gonna
now, you guys, that has been recorded on live TV. So I have to do it. I never was taking a bet, and I'm telling you guys, I will be buying one from you.
Even though you're playing the part of Jansen Lashley Haynes.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't wait for
That's an important part.
I can't wait for the very future Supreme Court judge to sleep on a Village mattress.
Yes.
Why would you not want to be a part of this? Look at these guys. They're so happy.
Yeah. Look at it.
All right. But we have another sponsor. Let's say hello to our newest sponsor, Tourist Hat Coffee.
Tourist Hat.
The Way of the Leaf are proud to be partnering with Tourist Hat Coffee Company. Tourist Hat Coffee Company is a family-owned business with a strong belief in giving back to the community. Tourist Hat Coffee Company is a social purpose business whose mission is to bring people the absolute best in small batch coffee while supporting children at home and around the world. And if you go to touristhatcoffeecompany.com and use the promo code LEAF2022, you'll get 5% off your entire order. We hope Tourist Hat Coffee Company becomes your family's coffee of choice. Remember, a part of each order goes to an amazing charity and helps allow us to continue doing this show each and every week. So go to touristhatcoffeecompany.com and use promo code LEAF2022 and receive 5% off your entire order.
Yay! And let me just say, there was a hurricane that hit Florida really hard, but hit Puerto Rico even harder. There are still people. Thom had brought this up. There are still people without power there. It's been about 5 weeks.
There was people without power from the other hurricane that happened there the whole year.
Guys, make this.
Those guys need a Generac.
Make this a winter of giving. Think outside of yourselves, and if you have the impetus, go ahead and try to. I mean, these are people that are sovereign United States citizens on a island that we are supposedly taking care of, and they are getting pummeled each and every year by stuff that and our politicians are like, oh well, they don't vote, so yeah.
Yeah, they should be. They should vote, and they should be a state.
They should be a state. You are right.
Mm-hmm. Or at least they should be the option to choose.
Keep this shit in mind, guys. You guys are a loving, giving group. I'm proud of the community that we've kind of fostered. You guys are all fucking so beautiful people. So I mean, just keep that stuff in mind as well. If you're going online looking to spend money, get some Tourist Hat coffee, buy a mattress, and also think of the people in Puerto Rico, would you?
Thank you, Brother Dan.
Yeah.
All right. And there's a resource.
Well done, Ryan. Jeez.
That was not me.
Oh, well done, Thom.
Yeah, you can't assume anymore.
Yeah, you're right. Whenever something magical happens, I just assume it's Ryan. I'm like, oh God, Ryan, good job.
All right,
So
Dan.
let's go back to this episode.
Yeah, well, here you go, Dan. This is a new segment we're going to call What If? Brother Dan, take it away. What if? The new segment.
All right, well, let's do this segment. All right, let's say we had 5 to 10 more minutes of actual screenplay that we could write and acting that we could have. I have come up with a couple little things that I would like to add, not take away. I think what was there was great, but I think that it was condensed soup, and I want the progresso. So for 5 more minutes, guys, I want you to think about what you would add to episode 1. I have a couple suggestions here. Let me see. So
I've got a good one.
no one. Layla and Perrin's story is left ambiguous throughout the entire first season. We don't know what their strife was. We know that Perrin seemed to have a crush on Egwene. There was a suggestion of a child either in utero or lost through miscarriage. There's been all kinds of speculation as far as what the marital strife was going on with Perrin and Layla. She kind of, she grips his hand and we see that wedding ring, the big blacksmith 6-pound link around his finger. So I would have personally, I wish that we could have had just one more scene, not only because Layla and Perrin were left ambiguous, but Layla was also awesome. She was the most punk rock Two Rivers person we've seen. She had so many earrings. She had kind of half a shaved head, like Ani DeFranco back in the 90s. She was rad. And so I wish we had kind of gotten a little bit more of a glimpse of their relationship and what this whole burden that Perrin, is it just the fact that he killed her, or what was there a baby involved? He hit her in the stomach, that sort of thing. So that's I have 3. That's my number 1.
I would have. She gave me like serious Shield Maiden, like Nordic Shield Maiden vibes, like like their whole costume looked great.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she was.
All the way,
she was married to Kratos in God of War.
See, if you ask me anything about Layla, this is what I thought before. And I know that, you said Rafe Judkins said stuff and the actress said stuff. I thought that, with the way that they wrote it, the way that things were, I actually did think she was a dark friend. Yeah, and I did think she lost her and Perrin's baby. And then I think that the baby that she had wasn't Perrin's, but Padden Fane's. That's what I thought. Because I thought that if Padden Fane had been coming there for years, then they would have had another, spy there. And it was her, and I believe if they did have a spy there, she would have known Padden Fane. And
crazy!
So I would think that baby would have been his, and not Perrin's.
Oh shit!
That's what I
thought. Fane, you cuckolding dude.
Because I thought that was the way that they could actually write it for it to be in the story and actually be believable. That's what I thought. That was my.
Whoa.
And with the way
that would have fit in perfect,
especially with the way that they ended it. Now that Barney Harris was gone, they ended it with it was supposed to be Barney Harris and Padden Fane, Matt and Padden Fane in Faldara talking. Instead, it was Perrin. So I thought that that'd probably be a really great way to bring it back around. That Padden Fane was talking to Perrin, and Padden Fane is probably going to hate Perrin because that baby was his.
Interesting.
But
I think they're going to bring Matt back into it by just telling him, like, oh, in order to get Clint, just like in the books, where the Aes Sedai will like heal him from the dagger a little bit, and then be like, oh well, in order to fully cleanse you of its influence, you have to go get it. So,
which coincides with Moraine telling Agelmar's sister to call the White Tower and tell the Red Ajah about Matrim Coffin, which makes sense.
Do you think when she did that, she still thought maybe he was the Dragon Reborn, or do you think it was just as a way to throw like a wrench in the gears to give them a false trail? Like,
no,
I think he's the dragon. Probably.
No, I think that they did what Robert Jordan did true to Moraine in the books. And in the books, if you remember, every time we had a POV from Moraine, even back in New Spring, she always talked about spying and things like they should have had somebody like watching him. I know I would have. They always do that in everything. So I think that was Moraine being Moraine. I think Moraine always is thinking 2 steps ahead. And I think that that's also like what we talked about before. I think that the Red Ajah are going to, apprehend Mat. And while Egwene and Nynaeve go back to the White Tower, Mat will be there. He has to be. To go along with the books, you know what I mean? Like, So they have to be with each other in the White Tower. And then Egwene and Elaine and Nynaeve will give Mat. I don't know if it's going to be a letter from the Amerlin. They may change that. That's definitely something they could change. But they're going to give him something to be able to get out of Tar Valon.
They did show at the New York City Comic Con they showed 2 or 3 videos that were never, well, they showed 3 videos, 2 of which were never shared with
I heard about
anyone
this.
who wasn't there. Yeah, one of them was of Mat in the White Tower with Egwene talking to him, so we do know that they're there at the same time.
Yeah.
So
And we also know, we know that I actually like the way they're doing this. Egwene does not like Mat. And even Rand told her that. You've never liked him. You've always thought of him this way. Because Mat is kind of, the way they're portraying him not in the books, but in the series, he is a little bit of a scoundrel. He stole from his own country, his own village people to give money to Padden Fane to help his family, yes, but still, the Mat in the books would not have done that.
No.
You know what I mean?
And keep in mind,
books,
Mat didn't ask for the lanterns. Padden Fane passed the lanterns on and said, "Here's 3. That'll get you 3 lanterns. Be happy for it."
No, he wanted 10 marks or something.
Well, he wanted 2 marks. He was offered 1 mark. He wanted 2 marks, and Padden Fane said half a mark. That'll get you 3 lanterns. Fuck off.
He would have gotten the lanterns anyway because Rand and Perrin chipped in
gave
the
him
money
some
for him anyway.
coinage. Yeah.
That's a thing that the relationship between the 3 of them and the way that they describe it and not just describe it, but the way the 3 boys interact with each other in the show, I thought was fantastic.
I loved it. I
absolutely loved it.
It showed friendship. It showed they taking care of each other. And even with Mat, with anything that happened with Perrin, they showed the love that they had for the 3 of them. And I love that.
Mat straight up tells Perrin he loves him in episode 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think this is some of the best written stuff of this first episode is the short, concise, yet full of background of these boys. So we have them. At first, we see Mat is the dicer. He's the one. He's like, how much did he lose? More than he can afford. And
something else that they put in early that they didn't put in until the second book, which is the Mat dicing. He never diced in the first book. Ever.
Right. Well, here he is. He's right off the back. He's Yahtzee man.
And
then when they're sitting at the table, when not only do the boys give Mat some money to help take care of his sisters, but they also kind of, they're in on the fact that Rand and Egwene, they're like, what happened with Egwene? He's like, I don't even want to tell it. They were vibing off each other, and like,
Absolutely.
all right, something's bugging you.
Well, yeah,
Red
well,
hair,
Matt. Well,
man.
it's very specifically. Matt walks up and sussed that out like within 10 seconds. It was specifically Matt.
Matt
He's
is
like,
man. Matt's great. When
Yeah.
Perrin is carrying out Layla, Matt is like Perrin. When Rand brings Tam, Matt is the one who helps Rand carry Tam inside. He is the helper there. He is the soldier. He's the bloody hero.
Yeah, I mean he's the perfect. So the thing that I like most about the way they changed the dynamic of the Two Rivers itself and some of the backstories of the boys and Nynaeve and Egwene is that they made them, I don't want to say more realistic, but they gave them a little bit more of a realistic, more of a believable backstory to have produced the people that they ended up being.
Way more human.
Right.
Yeah, because in the books, the Two Rivers is essentially the Shire, and nothing bad ever happens there. The worst thing that they ever have to worry about is some burnt honey cakes and a conger or a Copland being rude. Like,
yeah,
everyone, it's a perfect utopia. Everyone's happy. Nothing bad ever happens.
Those damn Underhills.
yeah. To that point, like this is a lot of death.
Look at that. That's 3 boats per half mark.
These people know. Oh no, not them. Yeah, but these people
many
have been
lanterns?
through a lot.
Yeah.
That being said, you mentioned the Congers. We saw Day's Conger,
I know. It's
and it was, even though she was an extra,
I hope we see her again.
Day's Conger, 100%.
Yeah.
So great.
That is
Well, it
exactly
says
what we would have expected from Day's Conger.
That was something that I forgot who, I think it was Ebony, pointed out to me when we did the rewatch last week, because I had never watched the show with, like Ryan was saying before, with the closed captions, and the scene where I forgot what she says, but when she comes with the pitchfork and she's like, and she goes and fights the troll.
That is what Days would have done.
Well,
Days would have done that every time.
It does say it, like when the closed caption comes up, it says Days. So
yes.
Well, the visually impaired version says many drunken women surround a Trolloc. Or
great.
the drunken women.
The drunken women.
That's great. I
And
love that. I hope she
Charm.
comes back. I hope, like, if we do get like the Perrin returning to the Two Rivers, or just any returning to the Two Rivers scenes, we get her there, like wearing some like makeshift armor, like being like one of the protectors of the village now because she killed
Like
the
holding
Trolloc.
like a Trolloc like weapon, or like a something like with horns.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, so back to Layla, and I just wanted to ask one question. It seemed clear to me. Well, okay. How am I going to phrase this? The feelings that were hinted at between Perrin and Egwene very early on.
Layla didn't go to the ceremony.
Nope.
When Nynaeve scolds
Ooh,
the
that is
strong-jawed man and says, hey, it's hard to work iron alone, he's like, well, give my best to her. And then bolts. I hear what you're saying, Ryan.
And then they have the confrontation in later episodes and he's like, I only love one woman.
Doesn't she say something like why or whatever, like why didn't you come, or why don't you come now, or why weren't you there? Like doesn't she's I think she says something like why or something like that. But yeah, no, I totally agree. Like when that happened, I remember turning to my wife and being like, are they implying that Perrin is like has a thing for Egwene? Because when that whole thing came up later in the season. That's the second thing I really didn't like about story.
Well, that's so funny. Well, let's talk about that real quick, because I picked up on it instantly, and I actually thought it was a little heavy-handed, and I was surprised that other people didn't pick up on it. And it seemed very obvious that, and I was wondering just how far it went, but I did not see any signs of infidelity. It seemed to be one-sided.
They could just be like, they were such close friends, but because it's a woman that Layla was jealous, maybe.
Or it could also be as easy as Layla had a man already, and she liked Perrin more and left him for him. And that guy was who? Natalie Lewin, right? That's who she married in the book.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
Oh,
Natalie
geez.
Lewin,
Oh.
yeah. So
Just
remember,
mentioned,
so
that one time.
Lilo is a Lewin now.
Yeah.
And then Piran thanked the light for him getting away from her.
Yeah.
But that was in that was in Shadow Rising. Yeah, she married. Yeah, it was Natalie Lewin.
God, that's amazing. But I never actually thought they're trying to make this Layla the same Layla. I just thought it was a coincidental name.
Well, Layla Dern, that's the one. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah, I mean, he named her that because of that throwaway line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna marry that Layla. Yeah, exactly.
You gotta
So-
remember, Rafe is has been reading these books since he was a kid.
Exactly. That's why I know he's
Yeah.
using these. Like, I know he knows this.
So here, for me, when in Eye of the World, when Perrin and Egwene are out on the road, I felt that the books were leading towards him starting to get feelings for her.
That was
During
just
those
Elias
interactions.
saying that because he met them together, and he said, I mean, Piran said it like in the book hugely. No, I don't love her that way. That's Egwene.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Right.
Egwene
More like my
and
sister.
Rand are like brother and sister to
No,
Piran.
but if you analyze his behavior when Egwene is getting all like hot and bothered by Aram, like it's all over. It's all there. He had hots for Egwene.
Yeah, but don't you think Matt would have done the same thing?
I think he was more being protective of, like, you're supposed to be promised to Rand.
Exactly. Matt would have done the same thing.
Yeah, Matt
I
would have
think.
did the same thing. Like, what are you doing flirting with this freaking tinker? Like, you're supposed to be with
Let's
Rand.
see. I think people in the chat agree with me. It's going to take like 5 minutes before. Maybe they don't.
We'll see. Basically, throw to chat. Chat, did Book Perrin have a thing for Egwene?
I don't think so.
At least in the first book.
I don't think so. I don't. I just don't. I don't think Egwene's Piran's type.
Neither.
Yeah, and so so it is clear though that he had. Do you think he had feelings for her in the show?
I think they're
Unclear.
trying to make people believe that in the show.
Yeah, they want us to think that for sure. It's unclear. Like, it could go either way. Personally, I hope it's more of a like I just said, like it's more of like a thing where it's like they were really good friends and just.
Well, he
like,
said the
Layla
only
kind of
person I
needed-
ever loved was my wife. He said it even. He said that to Rand.
I mean, he's not. He's not.
He could be lying to
He
himself.
could lie to him. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he.
lie. But I mean, yeah. Matt
he's-
might have hooked up with Egwene just to do it, but I don't think Piran would have.
Yeah, I don't. I honestly don't.
Unless
I
he
hope.
truly loved her.
Yeah, I hope it's more just like I said. It's just.
I mean, and they could be going that direction now that I think about it. I could see that happening. Like, there are some moments in the books where Piran and Egwene have some intimate, interactions. In
Very.
fact, I mean, at the very end, it's Piran's message to Egwene that it's just a weave that actually brings forth the flame of Tarvalon.
I love. That's literally one of my
Yes.
favorite scenes in the book.
Yeah, it's awesome. Oh, that's one of the greatest. I love that. That's one of my favorite moments. Like when Piran shows how badass he actually
Catches
is.
balefire in his hand.
He's like, "Oh, please!"
Please, this is just a weave, and then
Yeah.
flips off.
Awesome. It was
And,
awesome.
and the moment that it hits Egwene, where she's like, "Oh shit, yeah, we're in the world of dreams. Channeling doesn't matter. Damn it!"
Yeah.
We
All right, the poll is live, everyone. The poll is live. Go dance.
Let's talk about the Two Rivers in general. When everyone leaves, it is a gray, burnt out shell of a town. The Wine Spring Inn, who, despite the fact that this would be a logical place of safety for many of the villagers during this attack, was crumpled to its foundation by Moraine's magical swirls.
Yeah.
Pulled out all the mortar. No more mortar. Throw the bricks. Boom. We'll ignore everyone who may have died in the Wine Spring Inn when it collapsed. But what are we going to see the Two Rivers like we do in the books again? Is the Wine Spring Inn going to rebuild? It was there
Absolutely.
for centuries, as we hear.
They're Two Rivers people. They say it's so many. They're going to start. They've started building yesterday. It'll be big. Yeah, definitely. They may even have a couple more rooms. You know, like.
When they get their own bathroom this time when they rebuild.
They may have to hire Bodwin as a cocktail waitress. I mean,
man.
straight up, they're going to build.
And when they rebuild, they'll have Trolloc attacks in mind this time.
Absolutely.
But no, are we going to see it on screen though? And if so, do you think it will be season 2?
No, I think I don't think they know for not if they're going to do that storyline with Perrin returning to become Lord Perrin of the Two Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it would be until at the very earliest season 3. But I still don't. They could push that even further off.
I think just like they showed the Sean Shen at the end of season 1, I think at the end of season 2, Pat and Fane will be walking into the Two Rivers
with white cloaks.
With Eamon Valdo.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's what I mean. That makes the most sense to me because
that's
the
a
timeline.
creepy couple right there.
It is, but you know how he is, and
Just
with the
some of the greatest teeth in the game.
The guy that plays Eamon Valdo in the show, Abdul Silas. Oh my god,
dude! Have you seen some of his other work?
Yes,
He's amazing.
He's amazing. Like I just had to see more of him.
Yeah, like ridiculously amazing. Like he's as good as it gets. Dude, even McCormick, who plays Aram, is amazing. Like they've got some really, really good actors.
Yeah.
Like Aram's in like 6 new films coming out over the next year.
Yeah,
nice.
And you know what? Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I really think every single actor on this show, I don't think any actor from the extras to the characters we only see for 1 second, every single one of them was on point.
Everyone.
I don't remember seeing any portrayals or any scenes where I was like, man, that person's acting was really bad or anything.
Yeah.
By the way, Jansen, it is my life goal to get you to be an Ashaman. That I could die happy if I look and I see you in the background. Seriously, you have the credentials, you have the working skill, the background.
I am not confirmed as
You're
Andrew.
a professional. Fucking, I want you. I want this to happen. I hope that Rafe somehow just is yeah, why not? Why not? He's a super fan. Let's do it.
Anything, dude.
Would you want to be? Would you want to be an Ashaman, or would you want to be
Andrel? He wants to be Andrel.
I mean, I would love to be Andrel, but here's the thing for me. I've been doing this auditioning, since I was 8 years old. It's been 40 years.
Wow.
I don't care about. I want to be part of the production. I don't care if they want me to be a no-name innkeeper. I would do anything just to be part of this. This has been such a big part of my life. It is a part of my life. It's the greatest book series I've ever read, and I read more than 10 times. The characters are almost like my friends. Just to be part of this production would be the world to me. It'd be the world.
This production seems to respect and try to cater to fans. You are a super fan, Jansen.
Yes,
and,
I am.
This is a dream project. So that's my goal. I'm gonna pull my one string. I don't have.
I'll do anything.
I don't have any strings, but I'm gonna. I'm promoting the fuck out of Yannick, Jansen. I love you.
Yeah, I plan on touring Europe for a month, going there and just, if I find any anything, dude, I just want to be part of it.
Seriously, there were 30 people where Thom was playing music to. You could have been one of them cats.
Anything. I just want to be part of it. It's so much to me. I just want to be part of it. And it's that's me. I'm not, dude, I'm a working actor. I'm a working guy who I'm humble as fuck, man. Excuse my language. Disclaimer. Sorry about that, but I'm humble. I just
Jansen.
There are things that I care about a lot. I care about this production actually a lot. I want it to do well. I want it to do awesome. I want it to I just it's a
Mhm.
this is great to me. I feel like it's part of my life. So I would love to be part of it. And you know what? If the fact comes that I'm not part of it, I'm with you guys. I already am part of it.
No,
So-
you're the best.
So it's all good, man. Like even talking about this is fun for me. This is
Yeah.
this is fun for me. I've analyzed so many different aspects of this series, and there's so much. It's so much. It's so vast. I love it, and I hope that they can take this vastness into 8 seasons of awesomeness. I just hope they can do that.
I watched the episode 1, and Ryan, I believe you were the same. I was in tears. I was in tears at some point, just finally.
Just be like, there
Like
they
when I
are.
first saw
There they are.
Riggers, I started crying. When the boys sat down and had a beer together, I started crying. Like I'm a little baby boy. B, this was, I mean,
You're off your
this
meds.
has been so many years.
The Isla's monologue got me misty.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wasn't sobbing, but I was moist.
Yeah.
No, I was sobbing.
What really hit me was the first time they said one of their names, like on camera, like when someone was like Rand, and I'm like, they just said Rand on TV. They said Rand on TV.
Oh my god!
Right.
Yeah. It's not just a strong-jawed man.
Strong jawed man.
That was Perrin.
Oh, holy crap, Jansen. Nothing would make us happier if anyone in the audience wanted to help out and get Jansen on, pull some strings.
Yeah, we're
But
gonna make this happen.
But short of that,
we're gonna try.
there's merch.
Hey!
That's right. We have merch. Go to www.newcreationsbyjan.com/collection/way of the leaf. Just get to her website. We're there. We're in the menus. We have a wide selection of t-shirts, mugs, shot glasses, coasters.
We have a Tesla wrap. We have
A Tesla wrap.
yeah. We have wallpaper. We have Way of the Leaf wallpaper. We have a Way of the Leaf writing lawnmower. We have a Way of the Leaf
Way of the Leaf
pesticide,
lunchbox.
which is really.
Did you get a flamethrower yet?
No, but we got a way
Outstanding.
the leaf plunger. You would. I was like, hey, we got to get something we use every day.
Is
Yeah.
there a man's face on that plunger?
The kids will love this.
Whose face?
I want a Gowan Tricran plunger.
Going.
I
Oh,
love that.
that is great. Once they cast him, then we'll know what to put on that.
Thom, have you thought of what you would have added scene-wise from the book or from just show continuity that if you had 5 more minutes in episode 1, you would have explored?
Yes. I would really have liked to see a little bit more development of the Two Rivers itself and the people in it, like so that it was a little bit more specifically for the non-readers, so that it was a little more impact-filled when the Trollocs attacked. Don't get me wrong, it was sudden and unexpected when that Trolloc axe or sword or whatever hit, that dude in the back when he was dancing with him. But like, I would have liked to have seen like maybe like another 5 or 10 minutes of just character interaction in the Two Rivers, like the day of Beltane, even just the scene of like, there could have been anything, but they could have kept it with the book continuity, doing the scene when Tam had Perrin, Rand, and Matt unloading his cart.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
And Owen Fingar.
Yeah. Ewan Fingard, have them like trying to beat the crap out of Ewan Fingard a couple
Have
times.
Tenbui yell at Marin, and Marin go, "This is women's circle business."
Just something to make the viewer a little bit more attached to the Two Rivers, and some of the characters that may have ended up like, give us a funny scene with one of the extras that ends up dead in Winter Night. So like when we see that extra on the ground with the Trolloc axe in his chest, it's it was a little bit more impactful.
That long-haired kid.
Yeah. Just a scene with that kid, like a throwaway 10-second scene with that kid saying something funny or doing something. Maybe he could have been the one with the badgers, and then Egwene could have been like, "You taught him that, Matt." Like, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah, Tom, I have to respectfully disagree. They already just spent all their fridging budget on Layla.
No more
So you can't fridge anybody else. I say fridge. They can't fridge anybody else. So yeah, like
coming up, Ryan.
if you gave him a little backstory and then killed him, that's like just too much in one episode.
Fair.
See, you know what I would have liked to seen, and this isn't even 5 minutes. This could have even been 30 seconds, but I would have liked to see Two Rivers people coming up to Nynaeve, telling them about ailments, and then having Nynaeve say something like, "Go home, take 6 pieces of like willow bark, this, or like, and use that." I would have liked to have seen her, just so we know that she's using the herbs. She's telling people to use herbs because that's a big thing for Nynaeve. In fact, it's one of the biggest points of Nynaeve is that she was, she was a true she was an outdoors woman. She is an outdoors woman.
They messed around with a little bit of that with a
little
when she tracked land later.
Yes, a little, and then when she fixed
and then she's fixing Moraine. They're going around picking stuff. Yeah.
But I would have loved to have seen the people in the village knowing her as not only the wisdom but the doctor as well.
Actually,
the only thing we know of a wisdom is that she goes and cleans rocks at a sacred
pool. I would have loved to seen her seen her distributing like medication, distributing. She had the herbs were so important to her in the books.
I love that.
Her yellow Aja in theory.
I love that. It's interesting. Yeah, we had a whole induction ceremony, a highly dangerous one, with Egwene into a group that we still know nothing about. Like, what do they do? What does the Women's Circle do? What are they all about?
Yeah,
we don't need that. Don't reward them.
Oh, sorry.
Don't reward that. All right. Well, we need to wrap this episode up. This has been an amazing discussion. We've hit the turning point, the point of no return, the point where we say adieu to all of you.
It's not the ending, but it's an end.
Yes, it's an N ending. Jeez,
So we will be back next Sunday where we will be discussing Rafe's next answer. Dragonmount is doing a rewatch on Tom, give us the details.
Sure. If you go to Dragonmount's YouTube, you'll be able to find the video is already posted and ready to go for tomorrow at 9 p.m. They'll also be streaming on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. We're looking into doing a watch party on Twitch, but I'm not sure how that's going to work yet.
I just noticed that you could do something with that. Yeah.
If you show up live, submit your question through the chat. Yes, Tom?
Yep. Yeah, so if you post your questions, make sure to tag it with hashtag rewatch. That's REWOTCH.
And
okay.
When that way, there's a fun little tool that we can use to find those hashtags when we're putting the questions together to make the little poll that we did. So just if you have a question for Rafe specifically about episode 2, something out of episode 2, make sure to tag it with hashtag rewatch and put it up during the episode.
Awesome.
Is that it, right? Rewatch, capital R, capital W, capital T, all that matters in the world of hashtaggery.
Nice. So yes, use that hashtag. Guys, this might be the best chance for you to actually interact with the creator and showrunner of the series. And you guys have great questions. You guys are all awesome. So show up, hang out.
One more cool thing before you leave, actually. Screen Rant wrote an article about this whole thing and posted the pictures of Rafe's responses, and it had like Uno's eye patch hashtags and
nice.
It also had Dragonmount up there, which was pretty freaking awesome. But
That's great.
But it was a question from @Uno's Eye Patch. So like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's big news when a showrunner for a major network show starts interacting with the audience. And
you're telling me that? Like, dude, it's amazing. Like,
yeah.
It's amazing.
He's so cool. I just want to hang out with him.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. So this one,
it is. This is very, very special, guys, and I hope that you're realizing just kind of what this is a respect to us, to the community. People who are watching Dragonmount are obviously fans, not just of the show, but of the book series. And he cares about your questions. He wants to cater to us as much as he can. I think this is one of the greatest things I've heard. And I'm so happy and proud for you, Thom, and everyone at Dragonmount, Ebony, Jason, everyone who gets to be a part of this. Guys, this is no joke. This is really, really cool. And so show up on to the video. Post your question, #ReadWatch, and hopefully Rafe will interact with you, man.
Yeah. So this is what we're doing. We are piggybacking off of the Dragonmount rewatch. First watched on Monday. We get the answer to the question midweek. We come back on Sunday and discuss
and deep dive.
So appointment viewing for the next 7 weeks, everybody. We grow old together, but we grow better together. All right, let's head out. This was a great one. We'll see you next week. As always, run for your lives. This is The Way of the Leaf.